Hi there. My name's Dennis, and I'm going to be picking this Mul-T-Lock Jr. here today. I've had some people ask me on Reddit about picking the dimple locks. I'm by no means an expert, but as you can see, this lock does operate, and it is a dimple. I'm going to try to explain what I'm doing as best I can. I'm using a multi-pick tensioner, as well as a multi-pick number 6 flag. I don't know if you can see what that flag kind of looks like. And I just kind of use like a little twisting motion like that. That's all you really need. If I start out here, pin 1 is loose, not binding at all. Pin 2 binds. Pin 3, 4, nothing on 5. So I'm going to go back out to 1. And right now I'm just doing the outer pins. This is a pin and pin, which we'll see later when I take it apart, but I'm just doing the outer pins for right now. Okay, I've got a pretty deep false set at this point, and none of the outer pins are binding anymore. So I'm just going to go along and look for the inner pins and make sure that they're up. And it's probably just one of them just holding us up just a little. Oh, maybe we do still have pin 5. And a little bit deeper false set, so maybe pin 5 is still hanging up a little. Now we're just going to go along and tap those inner pins again. And we've got the open. And I'm just going to use the key here to turn this so I'm not dropping key pins while I take the driver pins out. I like to do this like one at a time. I just slide this Bible cover off. I'm just going to take once I get the first one, I can usually just grab this Bible cover and pull it back a little at a time. Okay. So we've got our pin 1. Is a spool. Pin 2 is a standard. Pin 3 standard, or spool rather. Pin 4 spool. And then we have our pin 5, also a spool. So that's 4 spools in a standard. I've seen some people ask why not do all spools. In theory, the core would turn more. It wouldn't stay in place quite the same if all of these were spools. That one standard pin kind of keeps everything tight when there's no key in there. And now we've got our key pins. Let's try to show the inner and the outer there. Try to get these oriented properly. Now there are some, there's a little bit of, I guess, spooling on two of the key pins. Pin 1 and pin 4 have just a little bit of spooling at the top. I think this is actually backwards, but you have the idea. So this is actually going to be the part of the key pin that the key rides on, and then this inner pin is going to stick through there, and so that's why you have to pick the outer pins and the inner pins as well. Picking the outer pins gets you kind of a large rotation, large false set, and then you just got to tap these inner pins up just to get the inner pin on the driver to clear that shear line and get the lock to turn. I don't know if you can see the little bit of, I guess, spooling on those key pins, and then the drivers as well. I hope this helps somebody. I'm going to get this reassembled. I'll show the reassembly if anybody's interested in that as well. I just go ahead and I get the key pins dropped in here with their inners. And then why don't we just take a quick look at you can see this, the pin and pin kind of together. So when I'm picking, I'm just kind of pushing on the outside here in the beginning to get that outer driver or that outer key pin up. And then once all the outer key pins are set, then I'm just tapping this middle one, and it's just raising that middle just enough. And once everything's loose, it can move a little bit further, I guess, but especially if the driver is pushing against it. But we're just giving it just a little tap, and it gets that driver pin moved in place. That's kind of what they look like in there. And then with the key in, you can see everything sits flush. So I'll get that back in here. Again, I'm just going to leave it turned slightly just so that I don't have issues getting everything back together. Now, I've also seen questions about whether you can brick this lock by turning it so that the bottom of the cylinder is facing up, and the driver pins do drop in a little bit, especially the middle driver pins. But then you can just kind of reach in there with, I just kind of go in with a regular hook or even the flag and just kind of push everything up and turn. And it hasn't been an issue for me having anything drop in and really completely brick, as I guess people say, the lock. Now, I do have another Mul-T-Lock that's not a junior. That I've also done that too, and it doesn't seem to be a problem. I don't want to say across the board that it wouldn't be an issue on any Mul-T-Lock, because I haven't picked every Mul-T-Lock type, but based on these two, it wouldn't be an issue on this or an interactive. So we've got that core back in, and we're just going to turn it so the key pins aren't falling out. And then that's the driver pin, and they go with this smaller end facing up. I usually just go ahead and pop all these in at once. Helps if you put them in the right side up. Okay, we got all those back in here. And then we're just gonna start getting these. These I find can be a little tricky. It's a pretty big spring, so really getting it down in the Bible. I tend to use the flag to get them in, and then I just start sliding this cover back on. just pulled back on that just a little too much. And we're missing a spring now. So I'm going to get the back of it, the rest of it back together. Try to get that key pin or that spring found. Let's see if I just like this. Maybe I get just a little more room with the key out. Yeah, so it does seem like it's a little easier to get these in with the key out, because the drivers are allowed to drop down then into the core a little bit, so we're getting a little less tension on these springs than when I was trying to put it back in with the core rotated and the springs out. But getting it apart, I feel like, is easier with the core rotated, so that you're not dropping the key pins out at the same time as the drivers. All right, let's just take a quick look for that last spring. All right, well, hopefully I'm able to locate that last spring and I don't need to get a new one. Thank you everybody for watching, and if you have any questions, let me know.